Hello friends, welcome to this guide on a holistic strength power practice called the heart-focused breath. And this is one of the first practices, this is the first practice that I start with all of my clients in managing their inner state so that they can manage and improve their health. Let's face it, stress is absolutely killing us. The Journal of the American Medical Association had an article back in 2007 that linked stress to higher incidences of heart disease, depression, cancer, and went on to say that stress affects all stages of disease progression, from getting the disease to progression of the disease, and to, with proper management, regression of that disease. In that article, they also mentioned that workplace stress is just as unhealthy for your heart as smoking and having cholesterol that's out of balance. So stress is a really big deal. The World Health Organization states on their website that 61% of deaths and 49% of the global disease burden are attributable to unhealthy eating practices and being sedentary, being physically inactive. And if we really look down at the root, so much of poor eating and poor movement practices comes to poor ability to self-regulate, to regulate ourselves, and we end up acting out of pre-programmed patterns of being and emotional energy in motion responses where we do something and we are like, man, I really wish I didn't go out to get that ice cream. And so all of this, death, the global disease burden, progression of all kinds of illnesses can be directly related to stress. And that is why it's so important to be able to self-regulate, to self-soothe, to manage your stress response so you can show up in your power, in control of your own thoughts, words, and actions, and live a happy, harmonious, calm, peaceful, present life. Emotion is really the thing that we're talking about when it comes to stress. There's good stress, there's bad stress. Let's just call it stress. All of it's stress. What we mean when we say the word stress is emotional unease. The feelings that we're experiencing inside are uncomfortable. And a particular feeling, such as a heat in my belly, may indicate anger to me. That anger has preset ways of thinking, speaking, and being. And so when we are in that emotion, anger, which was precipitated by the feeling, we react in predictable ways and ways that have us saying, I wish I really didn't say that. Now, when it comes to emotions, that feeling, that emotional experience, when you look at the research, an emotion is actually precipitated by an incoherent heart pattern. What does that mean? We have a function in the body where our breath and our heart rhythm are synced up. When we inhale, our heart should signal the sympathetic nervous system, that part that is responsible for fight or flight and alertness. When we exhale, it should signal the heart, to signal the nervous system, to signal the part of our nervous system responsible for rest and relaxation. When we're incoherent, we don't see that predictable stimulation of our sympathetic nervous system and parasympathetic nervous system. We call this incoherence. And yes, it's just like it sounds. Imagine a drunk person, if you've been drunk yourself, slurring your words, incoherent, unable to speak clearly, unable to put things together. That's what happens in your body. And so your emotions and what you're experiencing is unpredictable. That is incoherence. And incoherence makes our thoughts and our physical abilities, our coordination, absolutely incoherent as well. Now, coherence, that predictable, comfortable rhythm, that sync, that high function of mind and body, that improved motor function, that is really what we want. Coherence is an optimal state of body, mind, and spirit function. It's where you are in flow and things physically and mentally are just easy for you. And I have a secret for you, and that secret is that you can induce coherence at will whenever you want to. You can flip into coherence in the moment when you want to change your inner experience thermostat from one of stress into resilience, confidence that you can overcome this thing and the ability to respond appropriately. Just like you could change the temperature on your thermostat to be a little bit more warm or a little bit more cool and a little bit more comfortable. And so how do we do that? We start with a heart-focused breath. There's a saying, where awareness goes, energy flows. And so if you are sitting here listening to me right now and you're breathing, I just want you to focus on that part in the center of your chest, your heart. You can put your hand there, you can tap on it, you can draw circles on it, whatever. And just imagine as I'm talking that you're breathing through this space. That in itself brings awareness to the heart and starts to shift us towards coherence. There's a little secret that there are neurites, just like there are neurons in your brain, neurites in the heart and in your digestive system. And your heart brain is what it's called. It actually sends more information to the brain than the brain gets from the heart. And so when the heart brain is in coherence, it actually pulls the brain into coherence, syncs up the hemispheres in different areas so that you can communicate up here more effectively. Just by bringing your awareness here, you're relearning how to use the heart brain. There are actually cultures in South and Central America that teach their children to think from the heart brain first before they begin to use that cognitive brain. Secondly, coherence, the signature of coherence is a 1 hertz wave. And we can generate that with our breath through taking a 5-second inhale, breathing in, 2, 3, 4, 5, and out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Continuing with that breath, in 5, out 5, with your awareness, your hand, your thoughts on your heart. This is the heart-focused breath. This is step 1 to bringing yourself into coherence, to lowering the intensity of your emotional unease, and putting you back in control, putting the power back in your hands, reclaiming your power. And remember, power is simply the ability to control. And if you can do that, well, then you're less likely to choose unhealthy options in your lifestyle, whether it's movement, diet, rest by pushing yourself too hard, or putting other people's happiness and care above your own. So, how do you practice the heart-focused breath? What's the best way to implement it? Like I said, you can use this technique at any moment to change your state from I'm feeling stressed out, I want to rip this person's head off, to this person is inconveniencing me and I'm not going to rip their head off. At will, you can do this in one moment, in one breath. I recommend that you practice 2 times per day. 1, practice changing that thermostat, that inner experience thermostat, into a coherent state, one that is calm, present, in control, in your power. And you can do this for as little as 1 breath and up to 5 minutes. That's practice number 1. I like to do it first thing in the morning and then before I go into each client session. If you're working, I recommend taking a break every 45 minutes, every hour, to do at least 1 breath or up to 5 minutes of work. 2, your second practice is about establishing a new set point in your nervous system, one of calm, presence, control, power, instead of one of stress and anxiety. And to do this, you're going to have to practice for a little bit longer so that your body, your nervous system, begins to get used to it. And this practice needs to be about 5 to 15 minutes. And I practice whenever it makes sense for me. Sometimes it's at lunch, sometimes it's in the evening, sometimes it's in the morning. So breaking it down, once for 1 breath to 5 minutes, second time for 5 minutes to 15 minutes. To make this a habit for you, I want you to make it a tiny habit. Take a prompt, something you already do, such as every morning I sit on the couch and then I have a cup of coffee. So you can take this prompt and insert this new habit, heart-focused breath, in there. And it would look like this. Every morning when I sit down on the couch and before I have my first cup of coffee, I'll practice 1 heart-focused breath. And as it begins to become easier, your body will crave it, and you can stretch that out into 2 heart-focused breaths, or 2 hours of heart-focused breath. The most important thing to ingrain this in your brain, to change your neural networks, is to celebrate. To celebrate with a good feeling. Now, heart-focused breath in itself is a good feeling, but you could make this as simple as doing the universal hug posture. This is like, hey, come give me a hug. You give yourself a hug, you give yourself a high five, pump your fist, or just say, good job. Doesn't matter to me. And that's it for today. The heart-focused breath. I hope you enjoyed this. Try it. Share it with your friends. Share it with somebody who would absolutely hate this, but then they'll thank you for it later. And please share with me how you're going to implement this in your life today with your tiny habit. When I sit down on the couch and before my cup of coffee, I will take one heart-focused breath and celebrate by saying, good job, bud. Thanks for being here, and have an amazing day.